We here at Mayhem Media
understand the trials and tribulations of life.
No matter how hard life can get.
Suicide is never the answer.
There's more assistance available today than ever before.
If you or a loved one are suffering from suicidal thoughts, please don't try and take it on alone.
Call or text 988 if you live in the United States.
Or if you're in Great Britain, call 116123 or text 85258.
The world is a better place with you in it.
Welcome, everyone, to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, JD, alongside our new friend who brought along the popcorn and whiskey, Andrew Poletto. Andrew, welcome to Mayhemtainment.
Hey, thanks for having me here. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate it. This is going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And it's great to finally have you. We've had you on a couple of our wrestling shows, but it's nice to get you on a Mayhemtainment episode and get you talking about something other than wrestling.
And to be fair, you've been on several of my popcorn and whiskey live streams, and we've talked wrestling, we've talked movies, we've talked the Shield, we've talked all kinds of stuff. So
that's what gave me the idea to do this episode. I just couldn't find anybody else to that wanted to join us. If any viewers are tuning in, if you want to join us, please leave us a comment. I'd be happy to post a link up so that you can jump in and talk with us for a few minutes if you'd like to. So leave a comment, and we got lots of things to talk about in the episode. First of all, the first thing I want to do is let everybody know that Marcus Frederiksen played us in and out, as he plays us in and out of every episode of Mayhemtainment. Go check out his music, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen, and share out your favorite song. And go check out Andrew Poletto on Facebook and give him a follow, and where you can follow his Popcorn and Whiskey podcast, which is it's a really awesome show to just sit and relax and listen along. You know, he does viewer interaction, so you can leave some comments and stuff. So, and that's how we met. You actually had a link to just joint for random people to join you, which I've actually started. I've seen other people doing, so I decided to start stealing it a little bit.
Oh, and I'm glad you have, because it's a lot more fun when you have people to talk back and forth with. That's for sure.
It is. That's what I say. That's what I tell people. They're like, "Oh, why don't you just do it by yourself?" And I'm like, "I can do solo episodes. Sure, I've done them, but it's an entirely different style of episode when you do them solo, and it depends on the topic too, I think. And topics like this, like the Shield, I think are better, to have with somebody. So the Shield, this show aired in the early 2000s. It stars Michael Chiklis and Walton Goggins, CCH Pounder, and several others that we're going to be talking about. This show is about, it takes place in outside of Los Angeles in the Farmington district of LA, and it follows a new police station that's just opened up called, they call the Barn, because they refer to the area they serve as the farm.
Yep.
And it starts out, I mean, let's just talk about the first episode. That's what really sets the hook to everybody. You see, spoiler alert, everybody, if you haven't seen it,
that's right.
This episode off right now. Go watch the series if you haven't, and then come back and watch the episode, because we are going to be giving away spoilers.
Yeah. So watch the episodes, and I'm telling you, watch from the beginning. You will be hooked. It is, and I said this from the very start, it's a little on the rough side at that time. Now I don't think it would be, considering what's on TV nowadays. But at that time, when it debuted in, I think 2001, 2002, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a little on the rough side. It was on FX, the channel FX at the time, and yeah, it was. It'll keep you hooked. But if you don't like the rough stuff, cop type shows, probably won't like it. It's a lot of drama, a lot of
action, and it is about corruption. It is about police corruption. And let's start out the first episode. What sets the hook is the two primary people of the team that you follow.
Mhm.
And if you want, leave a comment with who your favorite character is. But we start with the guy on the left, the bald-headed guy. That's Michael Chiklis. He plays Vic Mackey. And two over, he's got the angry face. That is his partner, Shane Vandrell, played by Walton Goggins. And it starts with those two murdering another police officer, which is like, I mean, that's episode 1, dude. So that's in the pilot episode. So that sets the hook immediately.
And once you see that, you're thinking, what the heck is this show all about? But then you'll quickly understand what's happening and why it's happening. Whether it's right or wrong, good or bad is not the point. The point is to watch it, to understand what's going on, because it is a drama, it is a soap opera type thing. And each season depicts different good guys and bad guys.
Absolutely. The lines are always shifting. Allegiances are always shifting. Motives, even for the top 4 characters, are always shifting.
What's that Vic Mackey said? It's not what is it? Good cop and bad cop left. I'm
a different kind of cop.
A different kind of cop. Yeah.
Yeah, he says that might be in the pilot episode.
I think it is. Yes.
Captain Nasaveda needs him to do what's necessary to find the location of a missing child. And see, that's what's great about this show. That's what's great. And let's just talk about Vic Mackey first, and then we'll get into some of the things the team does throughout the series.
Okay.
But Vic Mackey, for me, is one of the most complex characters I've ever seen in a TV show. And he's my favorite. He's definitely my favorite of the team. Okay. You have Vic Mackey, he's the leader. You have the partner, Shane Vandrell, who learns everything he learns by the end of the series. He learns from Vic Mackey. The difference is Vic Mackey has a moral compass, whatever you want to call it. Even if you may disagree with a lot of the stuff that he has or that he does, but he has a code. You can't deny that he himself has a code that he follows. Okay. The problem is Shane
we say that right after we tell he shot a cop.
yes, but he does have a code. That's the thing. And I'm not going to reveal that. You want to know why he shot the cop? You have to go watch the series. That part we won't give away.
Yes.
But Shane doesn't have that code. That's the big disconnect with that as the series goes on. Shane learns everything from Vic, but Vic does everything most of the stuff. It's usually on the good side. He's trying to solve a crime. He's trying to save somebody from being murdered or being kidnapped or being whatever. So, but Shane doesn't care about that. He'll do whatever just for himself. And he also learns that from Mackey going into the end of season 2, which I think is there's the first hook right at the beginning, the opening episode. And then the second hook for me is after they rob the money train.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And to talk about Vic Mackey, by the way, these sunglasses I'm wearing because these are Vic Mackey sunglasses. Thank you.
They absolutely are.
And yes, I did buy them during the run of the Shield, and that's how long I've had them. The Shield, I think, ended in 2006.
2006 or 2007,
something like that. And I've had these glasses since then. There you go. But we talking about Vic's moral compass. I think, and I just thought of this in this way. When it comes to the police work, he is, I don't want to say he's strictly by the book because he's not, but he wants the bad guys to not be bad guys.
Yeah.
And anything he does immorally, it's more for not self-preservation, but for gain, if you will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for the greater and that's the other thing. A lot of what he does, not everything, but a lot of what he does is for the greater good. For the neighborhood too, to help other innocents, you know what I mean, to prevent other people from being hurt or killed or whatever. So he is one of the most complex characters that I've ever seen in a TV show. So he is definitely my favorite. I assume with your glasses that he would also have to be your favorite.
Absolutely. So hey, let's take a side note real quick here because I'm on your Mayhem Media Facebook page and it's showing that you're live in your avatar, but it's not, the video's nowhere on the page.
So I have it up on mine.
Okay, all right. So I was going to share it to my page, but I'm not able to.
Oh, that's interesting. You can't
Yeah, 'cause
share.
I don't see it. I see it shows it's being live, but I don't see the video anywhere.
Did you click on the live? Like click on the symbol. Click on my profile picture.
Okay. Well, there he is. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
had to do that before. That's
Yeah,
different.
yeah, that's a new thing. Apparently, I just noticed it the last couple of live streams from people.
Okay. Well, then how do can I share this to my page then?
Yeah, you should be able to just bring it up. Careful of the backlog because the volume might be on. But
Yeah,
then,
I just turned it off. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, go ahead. And then, yeah, you should be able to share it right to your page from there. There should be a little arrow. It might not actually say share. There's like a little share arrow.
No, I'm not
Next to
seeing
the
it anywhere,
comment.
even without my
Next to the
glasses.
comments, there's a little heart button where you can react, and then the button next to it is the share button.
Okay. All right. Share. Okay. Share now. All right.
Yep, there you go.
That's different. Usually I'm able
Yeah.
to do it through the StreamYard platform, but it's not letting me do it through the StreamYard platform.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, it's
interesting. I
different.
usually I usually have that open so that people can do that. So that's interesting.
Okay.
I'll have to check on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, since we both picked the same favorite character of the primaries, do you have a second favorite character of the team?
Of the team, it's got to be oh gosh, the guy just next I can't think of his name for life. Next to Vic. What the heck?
Curtis Lemansky.
Yeah, Lemansky. Yeah, Lemansky.
I'll have to look. I'm gonna have to look his name up. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah,
Lemansky.
He's the loyal soldier.
Yep.
That's how he was described.
Wow, it's funny. I'm on the Wikipedia page, and he's not listed as one of the guys. That's
Kenny
funny.
Johnson. Kenny Johnson, I believe, is going to be his name.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, Kenny Johnson. Yep.
Kenny Johnson.
Yep.
And he was described by the producer Sean Ryan as the loyal soldier, or as the innocent one. The innocent one,
yeah.
Dragged down. Yeah, sorry. The loyal soldier is Ronnie, who's all the way on the right.
Yep,
okay?
Ronnie.
He's the loyal soldier who follows Vic and everywhere.
Yep.
And who's my favorite? If I had to pick a second favorite, I like Ronnie, and I don't really like the way the end of the show happens.
Oh man,
I think he gets, obviously he's the one that's, well, you could say what you want. Maybe he's not the one that gets shafted, but he gets his own version of being shafted.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, speaking of my character, Curtis Lemansky,
oh man,
Ken, and something bad happens to him. Once again, spoiler alert.
That's why it's going across. I just left it up across the bottom of the screen, dude. Don't be afraid to say anything. If people don't know, then it's right across the bottom of the screen. That's
something bad happened, and it was totally out of the blue. And what had happened, I'm riveted to the television, and I literally say, "Am I able to cuss on here?"
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I went, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm literally yelling that to the television. It was wild.
My girlfriend at the time, I don't even recall what I was yelling. I don't even recall what I was yelling. I think I was like, oh my goodness, Shane, what did you do? Like, what have you done?
Yeah.
What have you done? And my girlfriend at the time looks over, she's like, she thought something happened. Like she thought maybe I was like texting on my phone or something, and she's like, what? What happened? And I'm like,
I was just stunned.
He just, like I couldn't believe it. That was, oh man. And that's when I lost. That's when Shane was gone for me.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I didn't have any more sympathy for Shane when that happened. I did not. I really did not. I had sympathy for him through most of the show. I really did. Like I was like, dude, he didn't understand. He thinks this is the way you do it. He thinks this is the way you do it. You didn't teach him the right way. But then when that happened, I was like, no, you're screw you. I was like, Vic's going to shoot you.
And later on, and it wasn't that season. It was the next season, basically, because that was the next to last season.
Yeah, that was the second to last season. In fact, that's a great, sorry about that. I did not mute my phone. My apologies. But that's a great segue into this then. Since we're talking about that. It was the season that Forrest Whitaker. He joins the show in the second to last season. Is he in the last? I think it's just the second to last season.
Second to last season. I think he might have made an appearance or two in the last season.
Yes. He's an internal affairs lieutenant who investigates Vic Mackey. And this is the question. Let me bring the banner down for just a second. is Lieutenant Kavanaugh, Forrest Whitaker, was that Vic's biggest rival in the show?
That it's for that season, yeah. But if you go for the whole show, it's hard to say because Aceveda was sometimes he was a rival, sometimes he was a partner. I mean, so there was always a back and forth between them. And then CCH Pounder Claudette, she did not like Vic at all during the season, but they had to work together a lot of times. And so when you ask for his biggest rival, I mean, for one season, definitely Kavanaugh for one season, but for the whole show, I can make an argument that Claudette was his biggest rival for the whole show, for the whole series.
Interesting. In fact, I have a Claudette visual. I just forgot to load it into the studio, so I'm going to do that right now.
Here's an interesting fact about her, and this is something that I did a little bit of research for this show, believe it or not.
Excellent.
Outside characteristic for me, I usually don't do that. Claudette was originally supposed to be a guy's part.
Yes. Yeah, that was crazy. And apparently, I don't know if you knew this. Let me take the banner down again. But she also did not want the producers or the writers to change the masculinity of her character.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Isn't that crazy? And I think we heard your thought. My thoughts on Claudette Williams is she's a great adversary to Vic.
Yeah.
She's also a really complex character in her own right. And CCH Pounder is an amazing actress who not just does good on The Shield, but has really done amazing in almost everything that there's shows that I'm not a fan of because they're not necessarily my taste, but that goes to her credit and the range that she has.
See, I've never heard of her before until The Shield. I've never heard of her.
I've seen her in other dramas. I've seen her in some movies, and I've seen her in The Shield. In some comedic sitcoms, believe it or not.
Really?
Now, though, that's not really like I'm not a huge sitcom fan. There's a few, but I'm not a huge sitcom fan, and it wasn't my taste. But I did watch an episode or two, and she was amazing in it. It was, it was just not my style of TV show that I liked. But it had nothing to do with her, and she was amazing in that show. So I think she's been great in everything. And I think you're right. I mean, you could argue she has been Vic's biggest rival. I think, at least if you want to go through the whole series, either her or Aceveda, you'd probably have to go with that.
Yeah. I would think Claudette more than Aceveda. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong one. This is the one I wanted.
We're both typing stuff here.
Did you have a favorite guest spot? The season they had after the first season or two, maybe they continued to really have some amazing guest spots, not just for single episodes, but they kind of did one for each season where
this is something that I wanted to get into a little bit because and you and I talked about this on my show before when we first started. I felt the acting for this show from every season is off the charts. For the main characters, the acting is unbelievably off the charts. That's how good it is. But I also think that each season, when they added a new character, so for instance, second season, and I have the seasons punched up here is why I'm looking at it here.
Absolutely.
There's a guy by name of Armadillo, who was the bad guy in season 2. Armadillo.
Yep.
I don't know who played him. It doesn't shade here.
He plays in not Sons of Anarchy, but he plays in that universe. He plays in the Mayans TV show. He's the one of the main antagonists in that show as well, and he's a great actor. He's a really good actor.
He was off the chain, off the hook on that one. And then the
I didn't even know him until that. Like that was where I got to know him, and then I saw him in other stuff after that. So
Then not the next season. He was more in season 2 and a little bit in season 3. Then season 4, the new bad guy comes into play. Anton Mitchell.
Oh man, I can't believe I didn't get a visual for Anton Edwards.
Antoine Mitchell, played by
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And for those of you who only think of Anthony Edwards as a comedian, I didn't know the guy before I saw him on The Shield. I cannot think of him as a comedian because he was such he was so brilliant. The character he played was so brilliant on The Shield, and it was a bad guy. I mean, hardcore bad guy.
So opposite of everything else that you've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
So opposite of that. I could not believe. Yeah. I'm the same as you. I didn't know who he was until that. And when I saw him in something comedic, I was like, wait, that's Anton Mitchell. What's he doing? Being hilarious with somebody. Like I couldn't believe it. So yeah, he's also got a range. That's the other thing. A lot of the primaries and the secondary actors, you'll see them in other stuff, and there'll be wide range of styles.
And here's the thing about that season. The same with Antoine Mitchell, Anthony Edwards. A character was introduced by name of, I gotta look at my class here. Monica Rawlings, played by the fantastic Glenn Close.
Yep, I have her on this one.
Just when you think the acting couldn't get any better,
oh man,
up comes Anthony Edwards, who knocks Anthony. It's Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, yeah, Anthony Edwards, yeah. Antoine Mitchell, Anthony, played by Anthony Edwards. You have that right.
Okay, all right. And then Glenn Close comes in a couple episodes later, or maybe the same time, but she elevates it, knocks it out of the park.
Oh my goodness. She's only a season long character, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It was terrible. I would have loved to have seen the show continue with her and to see what would have how they would have unfolded and everything, because she is my pick for my favorite guest spot was Glenn Close as Monica Rawlings. She is my favorite guest spot. She was amazing. And when she was done on the show, I was really heartbroken when she was done on the show. I was like, man, what are they going to do now? Because they really stepped it up with her. Like she really stepped it up.
And you're saying the exact same thing that I thought, because after, she was basically written out of the show, basically, and it ended it wasn't just they didn't kill her off and like that. It didn't end like that. She left on a makes sense.
It was meant to be a one-off. She was there for one season. Yeah,
and it made sense how she left the show. Absolutely. So I'm thinking at that point, all right, no way you're gonna get Glenn Close caliber for anybody, and who's gonna match that? Well, I was put sat down in my corner, because up comes John Kavanaugh, played by Forrest Whitaker.
Whitaker.
I'm not going to say he was better than Glenn Close, but you talk about equals. I mean, you couldn't.
Yeah. I see. The thing is the reason I picked Glenn Close is because I was a fan of her character.
Okay.
So Forrest Whitaker was amazing. I hated Kavanaugh. I hated him so much when Dick Mackey finally got the upper hand on him, dude. I was like, yes. And then of course he turned around and then he turns around and arrests Lem. And then you're like, oh no, that's why you didn't want to do that.
Yep. Oh yeah. So I mean, it's the acting in this show is unlike anything I've ever seen in any show I've watched. And believe me,
really,
I would say if the acting was bad or wasn't believable in different shows, I would say it's kind of cheesy or something like that.
Yeah.
This one, it just seems like every season it just got elevated by someone or a group of folks, because the core actors themselves were, they should have won Emmys every year for their acting.
Oh yeah.
The show. Why they didn't is beyond me. It was that good.
Yeah.
And then when they brought in the guest spots, it just elevated everybody that much more.
It absolutely did. Yeah, it was, and they did some perfect casting for the characters too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was just amazing. Let's talk a little bit about some of the secondary characters here. Do you have a favorite secondary character, like not the main team?
I kind of like Dutch.
No kidding.
Kind of, just for the fact that he's a little weasel.
And he's a little comedic relief too from time to time.
Yeah, a little weasel, but he wanted to get into the minds of the bad guys so much. So, you remember the episode where he choked the cat?
Yes,
that was intense. I couldn't watch it.
I thought he was unraveling. I thought that was going to be the beginning of a storyline where he actually started to unravel. And Dutch is the one standing over top of Shane. He's second from the left in the standing position. He's the one of the detectives, him and Claudette Wims, who we just spoke about, their partners. Yep. And Dutch is a know-it-all kind of detective, but when he hooks up with Claudette Wims is a seasoned veteran detective, and I loved their chemistry, them two together. That they did so good together. That's what kept me coming back with Dutch was their chemistry between Claudette and Dutch, and of course the rivalry between Dutch and Mackey is, of course, quite comical.
Yeah.
And Mackey does not win every exchange. Dutch
No.
gets a lick or two in himself.
Mm-hmm.
No pun
Yep.
intended. Well, maybe
Yep.
I did intend that pun, actually. Now that I think about it.
Now,
so
when you put those casted characters back up, I will tell you one that I did not like, and I was just uncomfortable from everything that he was doing was
I know who it's going to be.
I got to look for his name now. What the heck was his name?
Is it Julian?
Julian.
Yeah, I knew that was
Michael Jace. The acting was brilliant. I'll give him that. But the storyline itself, it just made me uncomfortable. Not because I don't like that type of lifestyle, because he was homosexual, non-homosexual type thing. Hey, like who you like. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But just the way it was portrayed, I didn't care for it because it was just creepy to me. I didn't. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, it was. I definitely agree with the weirdness, especially at the time. And in hindsight, I kind of find him to have a really interesting story arc, like from beginning to end. It's also very complex. That's the other thing. Sean Ryan did an amazing job writing some very complex characters, not just for everybody, but for the secondary tier too.
Yeah.
Julian, yeah, I agree with you though. Although I was proud at the end. How did you feel when he stepped up though and became part of the strike team there at the end? I really I thought that was kind of cool. He paid his dues. He earned his stripes. The strike team kind of accepted him.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that it was pretty cool that he ended up, kind of making it at the end there.
Yeah. I didn't want him to be part of the strike team just for the fact that I didn't think he fit in, but I mean, that's a personal thing. He fit the character wise. Yeah. He blended in with the strike team. Not a problem there.
Yeah.
I just didn't want him being in there.
Yes, I understand. No, I
Who was
understand
the other guy? And it's not in this picture, any pictures, who was on the strike team and Shane, excuse me, him and Shane got in a fight and Shane hit him upside the head.
Oh, yes. I was going to get some of the other team members, but I didn't have enough time to grab them.
And the guy lost his memory for a while. What was his name? I'm just
we have a viewer leaving a comment. Michael Chiklis all played in the Thing in the Fantastic Four movies. He did. Yes, he did. Michael Chiklis did do that. He also played in the Commish way back when in the 80s, which is not anything like The Shield at all, but you should absolutely go watch that series because it's still good, and I don't care if it's old. I still think it holds up pretty much for this.
I can't watch the Commission. Sorry, I can't do it.
I mean, listen, it's not something I can grind out. It's not one of those series back in the day that was in individual episodes. It was a story and then it was done. There wasn't really a whole lot of like season overlapping story in those series. So it is hard to continue to watch, that, but I'll still put on some episodes from time to time. Like I'll still put on some Commish once in a while.
Here's something about Michael Chiklis. After the Shield fame, or maybe during it, I don't remember which one it was, there's a movie called The Fantastic Four that came out. And
that's the comments I just put up. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the rock guy, whatever that is.
Yeah.
He said, and I remember watching an interview with him, that when he was a little boy, it was his favorite character. He says when he grows up, he wants to play that role somewhere, somehow, somewhere when he grows up. He wants to be that guy.
Why he probably took it then, because I always kind of thought that was a weird casting choice for him.
Yeah, he wanted that. And while we're talking about Michael Chiklis and the sunglasses, if you didn't know this, and one of the first episodes of the season of the series, I should say, and I heard this on a fun fact as well. He was shooting in the sun and he didn't have sunglasses, so he ran to a local bodega that they had there, and he bought his iconic sunglasses for $5 at his bodega.
Wow!
So there you go. And I got the Michael Chiklis sunglasses. Here you go.
That's crazy.
I got mine at the dollar store, so there you go.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's crazy. For me, I would have to say my favorite secondary character. I mean, I don't know that I could pick a favorite secondary. Danny might be my favorite secondary character. I think she's got a really complex character and story arc there too. So
wow,
I might pick Danny as Danny Sofer. She's a patrol officer.
Yeah, the one's very right there. Yeah.
So just for anybody who doesn't know the series, but I think I like her. She tried to help and do what she could, but she wasn't willing to get dirty the whole time. So I think I respect what she went through in that series. So I think I'd have to pick Danny on that.
Wow.
Also, she's the one that gets saddled with Julian as a partner, and that could not have been easy.
No, not at all. Yeah, yeah. There was a lot going on with that one. Yeah, it's funny that neither one of us picked Aceveda.
I mean, listen, man. That's why I didn't get into Julian too much. What some of my opinions on the Julian story would likely be better shared on the Boiling Point podcast, not here on Mayhem Media. So
okay,
that's why I didn't really talk too much about him, except to say that it's a very interesting, complex story, and it takes place over the entire series. They give him a great, like, a unfolding story that goes to the whole series. But yeah, the reasons I'm not really an Aceveda fan would probably also classify under the Boiling Point podcast banner, not necessarily this one.
For those who are watching, so what is the Boiling Point podcast? Since you brought it up,
why is it different? That's our sister show. They handle politics and world news and stuff. I usually don't do a lot of advertising for them on the Mayhem Media, but I do mention it from time to time. If you want to go that route, a lot of people don't like it. That's okay. You come here to be entertained. So
I'd love to be a guest on that show too. Just a side note. So
yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely put something together there.
So
I don't have a visual for it, but there was, other than the four guys, these four guys for the team, they did have a couple of other different guys. They had a fifth guy rotate in and out from time to time. Did you have a favorite fifth guy that they had? Maybe other than the guy that gets bought in the end or in the beginning.
No, I like the guy. I wish I could. I can't think of his name, but the guy where him and Shane
Tavon.
Tavon, yeah, I liked Tavon because and I don't ask me why this scene sticks out to me, but Tavon was put in the strike force to get some dirt on Mackey, all right, and one time that he went back to Aceveda for a report, and he says, "Yeah, I found some dirt on him." He says he parked.
He committed like he went through the whole thing. He's like he committed like a 10-9-2-2-8.
Yeah, he parked more than 6 inches off the curb.
Like, what's that? And he's like, I parked 6 inches. He parked more than 6 inches away from the curb.
Yeah. And that just tells you right there, okay, he wasn't going to do anything wrong at that point, or at least go against the strike team, because he understood. He was getting to the understanding what the strike team was all about.
Oh, I know, man. He would have been. He would be my pick for the fifth also, because I think I think Vic was right. I think he could have been. He had the right things. Shane didn't. I think that's what also happened. I think Vic recognized Shane did not have the stuff to run the strike team when he was gone. He knew that he didn't know where the line was. He just tried to do it as best he could.
And that's when we started to see shades of Shane being really rotten to the core, because his racism started coming out.
Yes,
with Tavon and everything. Yeah,
I don't know. I certainly that he uses that. Certainly he throws that with the way they're exchanging stuff before they come to blows. He certainly throws that out there.
Yep.
And you could say that, but I'm not entirely convinced that Shane was necessarily a racist. I think he just liked to throw it out to get on people's nerves. You know what I mean? I think he just liked to do it to get on people's nerves. I don't know that he necessarily, hated black people or anything like that. We're talking about the character now, Shane Vandrell. But either way, yes, he certainly threw a lot of that slang around. Yes.
Yeah.
He certainly know how to push buttons, and that's what led to the blows. But I think I would have really loved to have seen Tavon stay. I think the series could have continued. They could have retired Michael Chiklis, whatever. Tavon could have ran his new team. They could have kept the series going. I probably would have still watched it.
I would have watched it. It wouldn't have been the same.
No, probably no. Of course,
no
not,
way it would have been the same. Because Vic made the show. If you ask me, well, I don't want to say he made the show, but he was a huge reason why people tuned into it. Because you can say that about anybody really at that show. Then when you think about any series out there, you can say that. I mean, whether it's a comedy or a drama, whatever, you can say, well, this person really made the show. Well,
yeah,
you can say that about just about anybody. So that's not a fair statement for me to say he made the show.
Yeah. But certainly, I mean, it was all of them. That's what we're saying. That it was all of the characters. They all did an amazing job playing their characters, and the guest spots were also very amazing. They got some amazing people, and Glenn Close and Forrest Whitaker are just a few. They have many people that are just there for one-offs, just one episodes, or just a scene and stuff like that. It was a a draw for a lot of people to get in and get a scene, get an episode, just like Sons of Anarchy, something else that we've talked about before.
Well, no, we haven't because I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, no, I mentioned it on your show, and I think that's when you told me that you hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Which you should. If you were a fan of the Shield, I don't see why you wouldn't like Sons of Anarchy. I mean, obviously, it's not even the same thing, but it's got a similar style, a similar feel, and it's got a similar. A little fun fact for you: Sons of Anarchy was written and executive produced by I'm totally drawing a blank on his name off the top of my Kurt Sutter, and Kurt Sutter started on the Shield season 1 as a staff writer.
Oh wow!
By the final season, he was an executive producer with Sean Ryan.
Okay. Interesting.
And here you go. You want to know he was in the show. And he was in the Shield and he played in Sons of Anarchy. But did you know who he was in the Shield? You'd never probably guess.
I can't picture who the guy is, but if I were to guess, there was a rival strike team for another
yes.
precincts.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
was it him? Was it the guy from him?
Decoy Squad. No, it was actually. Remember when they were with the Armenians, Margos?
Oh yeah,
the crazy blonde-haired guy with the long hair.
Yeah,
that's Kurt Sutter.
Wow. All right, so since we're talking about guest appearances, here's one I bet you didn't know, and I didn't know it until I'm a fan of this other show called Suits. You ever watch Suits?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've seen it, but I've never seen the whole thing.
Okay. One of the main characters on Suits, Jessica, who basically runs the law office, she was one of the characters on the Shield or the rival Shield gang or the rival Shield.
Oh, no kidding.
Team. One of the two that remember the two strike teams had a bet.
The decoy squad when Claudette was auditioning the decoy squad to potentially replace them.
Right. She was the one who got raped by the bad guy.
Oh man, she's good. I mean, I like it.
And she had to. And I guess the only time that she actually got naked on television is she had to run across the screen or run across the precinct naked. That was part of the losing the bet. Yeah, and she did that. That was her. That was Jessica.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't realize that she played in Suits. Yeah, because like I said, I've only seen an episode or two, and I don't even remember. I don't recall her, but she's good. I thought, man, I would have loved for you want to talk about a fifth for the strike team. There you go. That I would have put her on the strike team.
Interesting. Yeah,
I think she'd have fit in.
Okay, so I like the guy, whoever that was. The guy, I think he would have fit in good
on the decoy squad.
Yeah.
Really, you think?
Is that what they were called, the decoy squad? See, I don't remember what they were called, but
that's what they were called, the decoy squad. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, and
usually most of their jobs were they would go undercover. They would embed themselves undercover somewhere, not like the strike team was gang busting and stuff. The decoy squad,
they were undercover. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, undercover set up for busts.
Yep. And another little known fact about the Shield: there was also another show called Lie to Me. It was only for 2 seasons.
Good show.
3 seasons, maybe. It was fantastic. It was great. I'm watching it one night, and this is when Facebook just started coming up, and I had several friends on Facebook, and all of a sudden I see Lemansky from the Shield on Lie to Me. I'm like, holy crap, what's he doing on here? Then pretty soon Ronnie's on there, and then what's her name?
Claudette? You talking about Claudette?
No. Oh shoot. She was Sulfur.
Danny Sulfur. Yeah.
Danny Sulfur. Danny. She was on there. Yeah. She was like 4 or 5 guests on Lie to Me. We're all from the Shield. Like, holy crap. And somebody says, they're reading in the TV guide where it's going to be like a Shield reunion. I mean, they didn't play their Shield characters.
No, but yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. A lot of other people, for anybody, because I did mention Sons of Anarchy, anybody who watches Sons of Anarchy will see a lot of the Shield characters in the Sons of Anarchy because Kurt Sutter was the producer and he created the Sun, and then he was producer of the Shield, and then he created the Sons. But he went opposite. Like the main characters, you'll see lesser in roles, while the lesser characters in the Shield got more of a prominent role in Sons of Anarchy. Kurt Sutter did that intentionally so that people didn't think of the Shield characters when they saw them, and you would really be surprised. We talked about the guy that plays Armadillo. He's a crossover. I don't know if you remember in just one episode, this woman gets busted or something, and then her pimp ends up coming. He claims he's a lawyer, and then they catch him in the interrogation room screwing.
Okay.
And anyway, that the woman from that scene is the DEA agent in Sons of Anarchy. Anybody who has seen Sons of Anarchy and the Shield is just, their mind was just blown, because when I figured that one out, I had to go back and watch the Shield episode to confirm that she was actually in fact the same person. So I went back and watched that Shield episode after I read that fact, just to confirm it was the same person.
Speaking of that, and I've always wondered, maybe you know this one. There's one episode where Shane is banging some broad in the interrogation room.
Yeah,
and she ends up blackmailing him to leave, because she says if she doesn't, she's going to file rape charges, and she has all this bodily fluids to do it. Who was the girl? Because I've seen her in other shows as well. Do you know who that girl was?
I don't know her name. No. But you're right. I've seen her in other stuff, but yeah, no, I definitely don't. And I don't even know if I recall her character name, to be quite honest.
No, because I think she's in one or two.
She's in one episode, and then she comes back for one other episode.
Yep. But that's which brings up this thing. The Shield wasn't just always focused on the strike team. They had 3 or 4 different storylines constantly going that they didn't always intermesh with each other outside of being at the precinct or at the barn, as they call it.
Yeah.
And they come together that way. So it was neat to see how spider webby it was, just going out to different things and not really intertwined, but they had to, because they worked together. It was just cool the way everything was spliced together.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing, to play off that point, the other thing I want to say is the way they have the show is so, he talked about the spiderweb thing. Everything that happens in the first 2 seasons spawns from the events from the very first episode.
Oh, yes.
Everything that happens after the first 2 seasons happens as a direct result of stealing the money train.
Yep.
It is so crazy the way Sean Ryan and the other writers wrote this show. For one thing, and at the end of season 2 spawns the next 4 seasons and unfolds the events for the next 4 seasons. It's just, it's crazy the way they had it written.
And then the last several episodes, everything just comes back all together.
Yeah. And the universe implodes. Yeah.
Yep, exactly how it was.
Both literally and figuratively. Now that we're at the end, that we pretty much talked about a lot of stuff, there is one other thing that I do want to talk about. And if you have any other things that you wanted to touch on,
sure.
Spoiler alerts, everybody. What are your thoughts on Vic Mackey and the way his story ended?
I had this conversation with somebody after it happened. Somebody said that because we had totally different opinions. The way I thought it ended, well, first of all, I didn't like the way it ended. Not for the fact, I don't want to phrase this, because it made sense how it ended, but it made you think it could be 3 or 4 different ways it was going. Somebody says it could have been a working suicide. Somebody says it could be, screw it, I'm Vic Mackey, I'm going to do it my way anyway. Other people say he just left and went off the face of the earth. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways you can think about it.
You talk about after the final scene, you're talking about like your own interpretations.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So what were you talking? Wait, so maybe I'm misunderstanding.
No, that's it. Yes, no, that's it. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. That's all.
Yeah.
I think, the way it ended with him in the office building, I think the way they left it open was definitely for interpretation. But for me, that smile at the end, I think he uses his new ice badge to do what he wants for as long as he can. And I think he develops a plan to try and find his kids, and then his payoff would be to just leave and grab his kids and then disappear. if he could do that. I'm not entirely sure. Vic Mackey thinks he can be the father that he wants to be.
Yep.
I'm not sure that he can. He really loves the streets too much. I don't know that he can just walk away from the streets. As you were saying, even if he didn't, that wasn't his plan. Even if his plan isn't to go get the kids, there's no way he sits in that office. That's
That's obvious.
There's no way he sits in that office. He uses his ICE credentials or his badge or something to do something, or he parlays over what's her name, to the next boss in charge to try and make it to do. He's going to do something. He's not staying behind that desk, whether it's with the sanctioning of the ICE department or without the sanctioning of the ICE department. He doesn't stay behind that desk.
Yep. That's yeah. What do you think about and if we're up against the time, just say so.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, how about how Shane dies?
Oh man, I think he gets off. I don't like. Listen. If he wants to take the easy way out the way he did, fine. I don't like what happened with his family. I'm
know what they try to model that off of, don't you?
I can assume, yeah.
There's Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, apparently, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up actually, because when I was looking through some stuff earlier, one of the facts I read was that one of the new facts I read that I didn't know was that apparently how Shane went out they did not know until they were already a few episodes into the final season.
What do you mean?
They didn't know how at the beginning of the final season, they didn't know how Shane's story was going to resolve.
They, as in the actors or the writers or anybody?
The writers, the creators. They weren't sure how they wanted to resolve. I think, like you said, they weren't sure how they wanted to resolve his specific.
Which brings up a whole point. I just thought about this. So I wonder, because it was so close to the Chris Benoit deal, and if you guys don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it. Was it done before? Because obviously it has to be filmed way before it airs. So was it done before that whole Benoit thing, or was it not? I mean, it's too coincidental to think it wasn't.
Let me look that up real quick.
As you're looking that up, I'll look up the Chris Benoit and see when he passed.
All right, yeah.
Okay, Benoit died on June 24, 2007.
Oh, that is going to be close, actually.
Yeah.
2000, November 25th, 2008.
Okay. So then, it was modeled after that. It had to have been.
There's that would have been, even if you talk about the writing of the season and when it actually aired, that would put it really close together. Eerily so.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
It was, and I didn't like, that, but also, the reason he did that, you got to think about it. The reason he did that was the last thing that him and Vic Mackey were talking about. Vic Mackey had his ICE credentials. He wasn't going down. He already had them. He had already confessed to everything. He was already done. There was nothing that could be done to him. So as soon as he threatened his family, that's when I was like, oh man, he's gonna do it, because like I could see him going toe to toe with Vic, but it was him, mentioning, oh, just stop by your family while you're in jail. I think that's what drove him, Shane, over the edge, because I think Shane knew he would do it. He's like, oh my goodness, he will do this. My family will never be safe.
And here's the again, spoiler alert, everybody. So I don't remember how Shane tries to kill Mackey and doesn't succeed. How did he? He hired
a gangbanger, if I'm not mistaken, because I've seen The Shield a couple of times. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say the gangbanger's name was Two Time.
Okay.
He was at Vic's house, and Two Time was at Ronnie's house. Two Time botched the hit on Ronnie.
Okay.
And before Vic could arrive inside, Vic got delayed by something. So he wasn't home like normal. He was like 3 minutes behind. So just as he was coming up to the door, Ronnie calls him, and he doesn't even make it inside his house. That's why he also doesn't know that Shane was the one that at first that Shane was the one that put him up to it. That's why they only have a suspicion, because he never walked inside. It was Ronnie. Actually, believe it or not, it was Ronnie later on said, "You said you never made it into your house, right?" And Vic was like, "No, you caught me right before I was about to walk in the door." He's like, "What if Shane was waiting for you?" And that's when they start putting it together. Ronnie is actually one of the smartest.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if Vic would have leaned more on Ronnie, less on Shane and Lem, the entire thing could have unfolded differently. Even Ronnie himself, towards the end of the series, knew. He even said to Vic, he's like, "I know about the money train." He's like, I wish you would have told me. I could have helped protect you better." Ronnie is the loyal soldier. And then, of course, spoiler alert, he's actually the one that takes the fall for
everything. Yeah. And speaking of that, it's a good transition. And one of the things I was researching today is, excuse me, when Vic confesses everything and they have it all on tape and do all that stuff, they said, and I had to write this down, there was a 42-second pause of dead silence when Vic is just staring, thinking of what to say. And they said that was one of the most intense TV moments. Especially for the Shield, it was probably one of the intense moments because you don't know what he's going to say, and you don't realize it's 42 seconds of dead silence, no music, no nothing, dead silence.
That's what you're doing. I mean, it's perfect because during that silence, you're thinking, okay, where is he going to start?
Yeah.
Where are we going to pick up? And then when he starts, and the way Michael Chiklis, just like you said, I mean, just phenomenal. I mean, everybody, again, does a phenomenal job. It's one of the best acted shows out there.
Yeah.
But Michael Chiklis, especially at the end, during that scene, the way he almost chokes on the words, he had spent 7 seasons denying the very first event that he speaks to on tape.
Yep.
He has spent 7 full seasons denying ever existed or ever happened.
Yeah, that's what he says. So whatever that cop was, he says, "I shot him."
Yeah.
Right through the forehead.
Yeah.
Yep.
But at first, when he first starts, when he's, I planned out and, planned the
Put a
murder
bullet
of
right
a
through his
police
forehead.
officer. Yeah. The way he chokes on the words, like I was like, dude, and of course, as soon as he starts with that, you're like, and then they cut to the woman's face who's just like,
yeah.
Oh, yep. Goodness, what just happened? That's when they realize who they really got.
And what is it? There's a funny line in there. I mean, it wasn't meant to be funny, but everyone who's watching it probably laughed.
Are you talking about when they're about to? I don't mean to cut you off there, but are you talking about when they're about to go? Like, oh, we got to wrap this up. The bus is soon.
Yeah, he says, "You got more tape.
You better get comfortable because you're not getting off on a technicality, and we got a long way to go."
Yeah. You better get another tape or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
By that time that's what's great. Look at that. You brought that up, but the way at the beginning he chokes on the words, something he spent 7 seasons denying ever happened. He chokes on the words when he tries to get it out. But then by the time they're hours into it and they're running short on time because the bus is about to happen, he's back to Stone Cold Vic. He's got the furrowed brow and he says, "Well, then you better get another tape or another team because you're not getting off on a technicality. And I got a lot more to say."
Yep.
Like he was back to that cold-hearted Vic. So the transition that's Michael Chiklis, man. He did so great in that series. Every time.
Now you got me. I'm gonna have to binge watch this thing again. What the heck?
I know. I had some episodes on because I knew we were going to do this episode, and now I'm going to end up having just put it on from the beginning because we talked about it. So, and then of course, I'll see things and I'll be like, "Oh, we got to put another episode together." Did you see this?
Wow, I'm telling you, gee whiz.
Well, I'm going to try and talk you into watching Sons of Anarchy. So maybe we can. We already did one of them back actually before. I think it was before we did the Mayhem Media split when we were still the Boiling Point podcast. And sorry, I got something in my eye now.
No worries. No, I also have to watch Breaking Bad because I just got done watching Better Call Saul.
I'd love to do a Breaking Bad. I'd definitely do a Breaking Bad episode with you.
Better Call Saul was wow.
I haven't Better Call Saul, but I have watched all of Breaking Bad, and I would definitely get down on a Breaking Bad episode. So maybe let's plan that. Any viewers out there who tunes into this, if you're still watching, if you want to do it, be a part of a Breaking Bad episode, reach out to the page and we'll put that together sometime for this summer or early fall.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how things are going.
And JD, you and I will get together on different shows that we both have watched entirely, and we know pretty much.
I'm gonna talk you into the Suns. I think. I really think you would.
I should talk you into Suits.
Listen, I've tried to watch the Suits. My problem is it's a USA show, and I'm not a big fan of some of those shows.
See, I'm a fan of all of them. It's a Burn Notice.
It's really hard for me to get into a non-premium channel series at this point.
Okay. Let's say Burn Notice, White Collar, Suits. Lie to Me, Leverage. Yeah.
Lie to Me, I liked Lie to Me. It just didn't run very long. But I like the actor who played in Lie to Me. I'm a huge fan of his.
Yes. Yeah. I can't
I'm
think of his
drawing a
name.
blank on his name right now, and I apologize. I got something in my eye.
Tim something or other. Tim
Roth.
Tim Roth. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll take my sunglasses, my Vic Mackey glasses off so people can actually see my face at this point. There you go. All right. Everything's just all bright all of a sudden. Holy moly.
Yeah. and now that I got that thing out of my eye, I can actually see again. So that's good. We'll definitely do some more content and some more episodes and continue to do some more collaboration. Anybody who's watching, leave a comment with your favorite character, your favorite secondary character.
Mm-hmm.
Forrest Whitaker, Glenn Close.
Yep.
And make sure you go check out Andrew Poletto on Facebook and give his show Popcorn and Whiskey a watch. It's a great show. And leave a comment to tell him that Mayhem Media sent you.
Absolutely. I usually do it on Friday and Saturday nights is when I usually do it.
Yep. Friday and Saturday nights.
And another plug for myself. I also have another podcast, Top Fitness Strategies. Find it on YouTube.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Fitness Over 50, just a real quick podcast that I do once a week, twice a week, 5 to 10 minutes. So check it out.
Yes, absolutely. Go check that. And I'll share links this week for his things on our next Friend Day. I'll share his links out for his channels again.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I don't think they're in the description of the video yet, but I will also add them to the description of this video. So that way you can also just go there and find them.
Fantastic.
And we'll do more stuff. But storefront. Check out our storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop. I'm wearing just it says Mayhem Media, and it's got our tagline under it. And then on the back, it's got our list of shows. This one is going to be taken down because we have a lot more shows than we had when I made this t-shirt. So if you want one of the originals, go pick one up. If you don't, then wait for the new one. It'll be out in the next couple of weeks. And if not, pick out something else. We have lots of stuff available. So go to our storefront and pick something up. And please hit the reaction button. Hit the reaction button. Hit the share button. That costs you nothing. Please do that.
There you go. Absolutely. All right, my friend.
Until next time, Andrew Poletto. I am your host, JD. And that's the end.
Ciao.